welcome back. We are starting part 2 of our running back fantasy series, and I guess we'll start it off with my number 11, and that's Aaron Jones. We kind of talked about him yesterday. Like, I don't know how much time you guys want to spend.
I mean, like an hour, maybe like an hour and a half.
Okay, an hour.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's just talk about how bad the Packers are. Really, I mean.
All right, guys. I will see you next week.
All right, no, but I mean, like I said, we did talk about Aaron Jones a little bit last episode, so this isn't gonna be like a long conversation. But I mean, I feel like 11's a very good spot for him. I mean, I feel like people that have him in the top 10 are kind of really hoping for lightning to strike twice. But
as the one who has Todd Gurley in their top 10.
all right, I'll give you that. But yeah, no, I mean, like, very productive back. Definitely a good first round pick for anybody that wants to snag him. I mean, if he's if you could really plug him in over other people we talked about, like, he kind of makes sense to be in that fringe between 8 and 11. I think. I just have him at the worst of that countering. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not much to talk about. I mean, anything you want to say on that, Hayden? Since you're the
I mean, I actually, despite having him at 7, kind of agree with you. I think he could easily finish like 10, 11, 8, 9, anywhere around there. So I don't know, just hopeful, I guess.
And then you have Carson as your 11, right? Hey,
yeah. Chris Carson is my 11.
Yeah. Is that changed at all if Marshawn Lynch comes?
Yeah.
No?
Honestly, I think it does.
That's a good question because, like, yesterday's video, which you guys all watched, like today that video went live as we're filming this, and like last night at midnight after we filmed that video, that's when like the news hit that it's possible Marshawn Lynch is coming back. And if that actually happens, I mean, that kind of puts that whole perspective.
Proves my point of like Chris Carson's still a talented player.
Yeah,
like,
no, but the argument that we had was between him and Penny. And it's just gonna completely wash out your argument with Penny though. Penny won't have volume. Like, he'll be like on a trade block somewhere. No, he won't.
I think they're just gonna have a three-headed backfield.
No, he'll have like a 30% carry, if that. Like, it'll be almost like 40 Chris Carson, 30 Marshawn, 30 Penny. Like, you're literally gonna be splitting the carry.
That's a three-headed backfield in my opinion.
But I feel like it's gonna be the third option on a situation where, unless those guys are tired, it's really just gonna be scrap time or just like not really a need for it. I mean, Penny's gonna be honestly on the shopping block if that's the case. I feel like if they're gonna bring back Marshawn Lynch, even if it's for 1 year or 2, they're probably gonna try to move him and pick up something like another receiver.
I don't think they would move Marshawn if he signed.
No, not Marshawn, Penny.
You said move Marshawn.
No, I said they're gonna move him, as in Penny, to go maybe get like another receiver or tight end help or line help to help the running backs up. I mean, something like that, something offensively to help them. I don't really see them needing 3 running backs on the roster, especially somebody at the caliber of Marshawn, even if he's 31 years old. I mean, he's 31 or 32, but I mean, I don't even care. Like, Marshawn Lynch is, I mean, even those games last year at the very end where he hadn't played in a year, he still showed pretty well that he still had ability there, you know what I mean? Especially as like a power situation. So
yeah, I think that's where it's going to affect Carson the most. Like all the goal line work will probably go to Marshawn.
No, he'll be getting touchdowns on the goal line for sure. Carson will be the open field, runner basically, and then we'll be switching over there.
Penny, your third down back.
Penny will be your third down or catching back, one of the two. And
the thing is, I don't have Penny in my top 20, and you have Carson in your top 10.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I honestly, like, right here, I could see the Aaron Jones and Carson flip like he has, because in all honesty, like, with Marshawn taking away from Carson, 11 is a good landing spot for him. Like, I'm not even mad about that now. Yesterday, I was like, that's not a good spot, really, because I felt like he's definitely going to put in the work in. But now adding another back to that backfield, if it happens, it could be taking away a lot from that Seattle backfield for the other two. So,
do you still think that Carson would get 1,000 yards?
It'd be close.
Ooh, it'd be close. Yeah. Dude, he's going to be here for like 900 to like 1,050.
I would say Carson with Marshawn on the roster, if that happens, I think he's looking at like a 700 yard to like 900 yard season, maybe tips 100, maybe tips 1,000.
I have him at like a anywhere from 900 to 1100.
I mean, now without Marshawn on the list, I've got him like 1,000 to 2,300. So I mean, solid year.
2,300.
No,
Yeah,
sorry.
wait.
I'm sorry.
You mean
Not
1,200
23.
or 1,300?
13.
He's gonna be
I'm sorry.
AP
I'm
or
sorry.
what?
I'm sorry. Not 23. 1,300. I didn't mean 23. Like 1,000 to 1,300 yards, and I feel like that's a very respectable season from a top 10 back, personally. But I really think if Marshawn signs, he might not be a top 10 back, and I mean, it's very likely that he actually isn't. So,
Yeah, I agree.
Random question, dude. You guys see Derrick Henry going over 1,800 yards this year?
Over
18.
Dude,
I mean, I wouldn't say it's out of the possibility realms. I feel like his distance is a lot more. It's a pretty big wide margin. I think honestly, you're looking at like a 1,500 from him.
Yeah,
if
I'm
he's
thinking
healthy.
like 1,600.
Yeah, 1,500, 1,600. But I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he pushes it to 18. You mean? But I don't know about above 18. You mean? Like, I don't know. That's a lot of yards, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
but if he's the focal point that you guys have been
Are you saying
preaching,
just rushing yards or
yeah,
like all
Rushing
purpose
yards.
yards?
I mean, like all purpose, he'll probably clear because I assume he's gonna have maybe a few hundred from the backfield from receiving.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of receiving work. But
Well, I mean,
Hey,
yeah,
are
but I
you
still
are
think
you saying that he's not a workhorse, Scott?
that's what he's
no,
saying?
I'm saying I just asked 1,800.
Rewind to episode 1. This man loves Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, I still think Derrick Henry's a great running back, but
Okay, but why are we on? That was like a number 3 overall player. Why are we even talking about it? We're way
I
off
don't know.
track there.
It just popped in
Number-
my head.
Back to
Moving on.
the question for 11 there.
Moving on to number 12.
But to finish off 11 real quick though, is the question was, do you feel like Chris Carson's going to be still a highly serviceable back at 11, or do you kind of feel like the slide might happen, Scott?
I have him at 16.
16.
Yeah, I could see him drop into like 14.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see him falling out of the top 10, but I don't know about 16. Maybe max 12, in my opinion.
If Marshawn signs, I think at this point I would take someone like Miles Sanders over.
Oh, I
Ooh,
wanted
that's-
to talk about him next.
That's tight.
He's my number 12.
I don't
Man.
actually. He didn't make my top 20, so.
Bruh.
Well, he is my 13.
He's a fringe 21, 22 for me. So
He's my 12. Why? Who's the competition there that's gonna take away work from him?
I mean, this doesn't mean anybody's gonna take away work from him. I'm just saying like he's just not overall that good.
Have you seen him play?
I've seen him play. All right, getting on to number 12. Let's talk about Nick Chubb.
Yeah. No, Miles Sanders. No, we're talking my number 12. Miles.
I think we kind of talked about Nick Chubb last episode.
Yeah,
didn't we?
exactly.
We
So
touched a
we're
little bit on him, but I mean,
Stop
like,
running away from Miles. Top running boy.
oh god. All right,
Dude,
I just
did you-
I just don't look at him and say, wow. I mean, he's a good running back. I look at him going like, is that all they have? Like,
I'm gonna pull up his last 4
you
games.
get what I'm saying? Hey, no,
log.
you look at him and he's just like, he doesn't wow you with his running ability. I mean, he's just he's okay.
Last year was his rookie year. He only had 180 attempts. He still had 800
Yeah,
yards.
and I think he's gonna have about 180 attempts again this year.
Who else is gonna be taking his attempts?
No one needs to
Corey
take anything. No one needs to take anything.
Clement.
They're not gonna run the ball. They've showed this in the past.
Last year they had Jordan Howard.
Listen, they
Go
had.
look at Jordan Howard splits. They definitely run the ball.
Listen, they used to have Jay Ajayi. Didn't run the ball a lot with him. They used to have Jordan Howard. Didn't run the ball a lot with him. They used to have what's his name, Shady McCoy. They didn't really run the ball a lot. I mean, they're a big passing check down type team with good amount of running, but like not like overabundance. I just don't see him being this stud of a back, especially not a top.
Also got
not
50
top
receptions
15.
his
I mean,
year.
if he
And
breaks into the top 20,
I think that number's gonna go up.
if he breaks into the top 20, I'm looking at like 20 to 18. I don't see him dropping into the top 15 this year. And that's just my personal opinion. I mean, I just don't look at him and say he's just that good. I mean,
Okay, so last year between Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard, they had 300 rushing attempts.
that's not overly a lot. I mean,
But so like this year, if he kept the same pace of like 4.6 yards a carry, if he had
he won't.
250 carries,
Why won't he?
He won't. They'll definitely still
why won't
split
he improve
carries.
from his rookie year?
He's not gonna keep an average of 4.5 yards a carry.
Why not?
He's just not gonna do that.
What are you basing this off of?
Like, okay, go look at pull up a stat and tell me how many running backs average a 4.5 yard a carry average.
All right.
Like, tell me that.
I'll just go through like the ones that I have up here.
Like, just give me all the names. Who averages a 4.5 yard average for their career?
I mean, I'm just gonna go off the list of names that I have up here. Derrick Henry's average is 4.8.
Okay. Yep. Top 5 back.
Kenyon Drake's average is 4.8.
Well, that's disgusting. That's not true.
Yes,
Was that last year? Was that
No,
last
that's
year?
Dude,
that's his career.
That's disgusting.
Josh Jacobs last year 4.8.
Yeah,
Chris
he had a
Carson
great
averaged
year.
4.5.
Good year. I mean,
That's career stats for Chris Carson.
career stats.
Joe Mixon averages 4.2 for his career.
Also have him in the top 15. Yep.
And last one, just for
And Miles Sanders is right up there with him.
Okay,
no,
so-
Leonard Fournette is 4.1.
So you're telling me these people are like, there's only like a handful of them that do this? Oh, you know
No,
why? Because it's not
it's
an
not
easy
just a handful.
thing.
It's just the 5 names that I have up here because it's people that I have on my
Listen,
N through
it's just
20.
not an easy thing to career rush. Like every time you rush is a 5 yard average. It's just not a super easy thing to do.
Yeah, but
and I don't
I believe
him
in
doing
the talent
it.
of
He
Miles
split
Sanders.
carries last year with another back who, in my opinion, is pretty solid. Not great, solid back. I wouldn't say Jordan Howard's an amazing back, but I mean, he had another guy to split carries with. If he's going to be the only guy, they're going to key in on him more. He's not going to get as big of carries. It's just not going to be as productive overall, like, with the numbers. Okay, his numbers will drop to about 3.5 to 3.7 yards a carry probably. And he might increase more carries and have more yardage. But in my opinion, that doesn't make him a top 15, especially not a top 12
I
back.
think the receiving, but like it's that in addition to the amount of receiving work he's gonna get. Like he got 50 receptions his rookie year, and I don't see that number dropping at all.
Yeah,
In
but
fact,
like
I
that's
see it
not even like a
going
super
up
high number. Look at,
70.
I mean,
Take-
but you're putting
like-
you're putting him in the categories with other players that are in the top 12 as if he's like this elite back. He's not.
He's a good pass catching back. I know that. I mean,
I'm shook right now. You guys.
Would you like to make a bet that Miles Sanders finishes inside the top 15?
Yeah, I'll gladly make.
Is
a
every
top
one of these
15.
videos just gonna have a bet in it? You guys both against me here?
Dude, because if you don't think Miles Sanders is gonna have a top 15 year, then
I just don't see it. I don't see it.
well, I don't know what to tell.
I mean, I didn't think he was impressive last year. And I just don't see him being super impressive this year.
Yeah.
Like, that's just personal. Yes. Moving on from Miles Sanders, though.
So you're dodging. Okay. Good. That just validates my point.
Who do you have at 12? Hayden.
I have Mixon at 12.
I have Mixon at 14, and I think Wet had him at like 6 or something.
7.
You got the Mixon fanboy over here.
Right? Dude, he's like in love with Mixon. It's hilarious. So we kind of already touched on Mixon a little bit, though, so this should be fairly quick. I mean, like,
Good.
he's the only back really
Terrible
over there.
offense, but
I mean, again, I want to put
good.
this out there. He only puts backs that have nobody else on the roster to be a top back automatically, just because like that just makes them elite in his eyes. Like Mixon's
You're gonna get the
Mixon's
ball.
number 7 in the league
Sure.
in his eyes because there's nobody else in that roster, even though they're not like a super heavy pass or rush team.
He is also.
Like-
I would say he's probably one of like a top 7 talent. I'd say at the position.
That's pushing it, man. I feel like you're more wild than I am with your picks a little bit there.
I mean, just like seeing him play.
Okay.
I'd
Other
say
than the last one, me and Hayden have been pretty close to our numbers with everything. The biggest differences are Saquon at 1 and 5, Aaron Jones at
Gurley.
7. Yeah, Gurley and that's a 5-person
Drake.
difference too. Actually, you have him at 14, right?
and Drake.
You have Gurley at like 14, right? Hayden, what's your Gurley pick?
Me? Oh, yeah. Yeah, 14.
So like every one of our picks are like 5 within 5, and like besides the Drake one, and the Miles Sanders one are like the two wild ones that me and you differ on. Wet over here is putting everybody like either super high or super low. Like it's just like
What are you talking
he's
about?
super wild. That's what I'm saying. Like
It's just Drake and Mixon for me. We have
you have Mixon
similar
7
things-
picks higher than me.
Okay.
You have Drake like 20 picks higher than me. Like I don't. You
Okay,
have
then
Miles
who else?
Sanders like 20 picks higher than me.
He had 2, and
You
I
have
two.
you have
so
Todd
who
Gurley
else?
like way down there. You
I
don't
have
even
him
have
at 15.
RJ2 on on the list. I mean, you don't have Melvin Gordon on your list. I mean, you're just
I don't have either of
violent.
these people on my list either.
Neither. So really, you're just singling me out for no reason.
Hey, it's called the Michael Scott Show. I gotta single you out for something.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Your name comes second.
All right. Well.
Yeah, so we have talked about Mixon a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
If you listen to Wet, you're gonna go off the same assumption he has. If you're the number 1 back and you're the only back on the roster, you're a top
And
10.
he has talent.
You're just a top 10 if you're a number 1 back and you're the only
you're-
back on the roster. That's basically what he says. So I'm gonna go ahead and just summarize that. I don't think Mixon's gonna be the end all be all to the running backs over there and be a top 10. I feel like he's a very justifiable top 15, and definitely if you can get him in the second round, good pickup at a running back situation. But I don't see him as a first round pick, personally.
I see him as like a late first round pick.
I just feel like if you're taking Mixon in the first round, you're reaching
9,
a
10.
little bit.
I guess.
I mean, like, I don't
Like-
mind you taking him early second, but I really feel like he's a late second round
I
pick.
mean, I have him from like late second. Really.
Well, I mean, you got to also factor in receivers. Like, no one
Yeah, no,
takes.
I have him
no
at, like,
one, no one just
early
drafts
second.
15 running backs in a row. I mean, there's the first like 4 or 5 picks are usually running backs, and then after that, there's a few receivers that jump in there. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way in any ranking system after running back 6 are you not gonna put at least Michael Thomas right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
So
Yeah,
in,
I would
in
agree.
that sense, like he falls in my listing at least to like 15, even if you just add 1 receiver. But there's like 4 receivers you should be able to add right after 6. That puts it into perspective. That Mixon's really a late second round pick in my opinion. I mean, that's just me. I know our league's crazy. You'll probably give him the 4th round. So like people sleep on everybody in our league. So, but moving on from Mixon because I feel like we've already talked about him too. And then you had Mixon at 12, right? So you had what's his name at 12? Mine's Nick Chubb. We already talked about Nick Chubb. He's gonna split carries with Kareem Hunt. That's why I have him so low. You said he's gonna be the powerhouse over there. That's why you have him so high. Where did you have Nick Chubb at?
Me? I had him at 10.
10,
had him at 8.
8. So we're all pretty close on that. It's okay. All right. So pick number 13. Hayden.
13, I have Sanders.
Miles Sanders. So we're back on the Sanders train here. What about you?
I have Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. All right. Okay, so we touched a little bit on Leonard Fournette too, and we actually talked about everybody at pick 13 right here because I have Josh Jacobs, and
Yeah.
I definitely feel like any of them could honestly fall to that position. I think Jacobs could break out and be a little higher, or make it to about 13.
I think Jacobs is a top 10 lock. personally.
I definitely don't think Jacobs is a top 10 lock. I feel like that's definitely a reach. That offense in
What did he
in-
finish last year and only playing 13 games? That's my only question.
I thought he finished like 17th or 21st, something like that. Somewhere around there, between that. I feel like the Raiders, you never know what they're gonna do, man. Like you really
I
don't.
know Josh Jacobs will be getting the ball. I
Who
do know
knows?
that.
Who knows? They might try to re-sign Marshawn Lynch again. I mean, like you just never know what the Raiders are gonna do, man. They're all up and down. They're all over the place. It's the Raiders. They are the worst franchise to do weird things in the NFL.
The worst franchise to do weird things.
Yeah, like they
care
drafted.
Care to clarify?
Have you not, like just let's run back their draft picks. This year alone they passed on the top 2 receivers to take the 3rd. best
Oakland
receiver.
loves speed, dude.
I get that.
Oakland
I
loves
get that.
speed. Oakland
Let's
loves
just run it
speed.
back a few years ago. They took Jamarcus Russell with the 1st overall pick, who ended up being like the worst quarterback in history. Like they just like
Wow, that's
yeah,
I
offensive.
think they had Terrell Pryor at quarterback for a while too.
Yeah.
yeah.
A
Ohio
wide
State-
receiver turned quarterback.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a it was a quarterback,
quarterback
turned
turned
wide
wide
receiver turned quarterback turned wide receiver. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was. So I like Josh Jacobs. I really feel like if he makes his way out of Oakland in year 4, he'll be pretty good. For any other team that picks him up, because he'll definitely not finish his career in Oakland, because no one ever does.
Technically, he's in Vegas now.
Yeah. Vegas now. You're right. But other than that, I mean, like, I could see him break into the top 10, so I'm not against that pick at all. I'm like not against you guys on that at all. He's very talented. Definitely, it could break into the top 10, but I've got him just outside of it. I mean, his play was nice last year, but again, he's going to get keyed on a little bit more this year. He's not a rookie anymore. People are going to pay attention to him a little bit more, especially when we had the breakout season. Just think of like Kareem Hunt's year, his rookie year. Dude was going off. Second year, numbers definitely. No, his numbers definitely diminished a little bit to the point where, like, yeah, he was still pretty good, but at the same time, he wasn't as good as he was his rookie year. I see that a lot with running backs because, like, no one respects them coming out of the draft as rookies and says, well, they're just going to be the best thing ever, and then they turn out and just, catch everybody sleeping. You know what I mean? So I could definitely see him getting knocked down a peg, but at the same time, he's going to increase from last year. I just don't think he's going to jump into the top 10 this year.
Yeah. He also only played 11 games.
I get that, but who knows? He might only play 11 games again next year.
I sure hope not. I was able to get him in the 4th round in our fantasy league, so he's my keeper. I mean, my RB1 for next year.
All right, so I want to hear your opinion on why you have Miles Sanders so high, because we kind of heard from Wet over here. He's the only one, but he's the only back over there. So in Wet's eyes, he's just automatically a locked top 15.
You literally don't listen to me. I said he's also gonna get the receiving work.
All right, Hayden.
So yeah, he does kind of remind me a little bit of like Darren Sproles, but he's like a little bit more physical and taller.
Yeah, I can see that.
He only had 180 rushing attempts last year, and was like, for the amount of attempts, he was actually really close to 1,000 yards, and that was with Jordan Howard taking some of his carries. So I could definitely see him breaking 1,000 yards this year if he gets 220, 250 attempts.
Yeah, I feel like it's a big stretch. It's a lot of increased work. If you had almost 100 attempts, you mean? Like,
who's gonna take him?
Why do you keep saying that there's not another person on the roster? You have to have 4. You have to have 4 running backs to have a freaking current depth chart. You're gonna frustrate me. Like, they have 3 other running backs signed on the roster. They're gonna have 3 other running backs.
But 2 of them are irrelevant, and you wouldn't want to.
Miles Sanders was irrelevant. Like, they didn't even know.
No, he wasn't. Go look at his rookie year.
They didn't know who the fool was after the week 1, man. Like, he didn't just come on the stage and just blow it up. Like, they had to give him
still,
opportunity.
even last year, he had 50 receptions for 500 yards.
Okay, I get that. You're making more sense than him, okay? His argument is only the fact that there's no one else on the roster. Like, it's crazy to me that he thinks that. Like, listen, every rookie running back that comes into the league is basically a nobody until they prove otherwise. Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, the new kids that are coming out right now. So it's always that way. They come out, they especially expect, if they're first round pick, they're expected to come out good. But the ones that get drafted late seconds, 3rd round, 4th rounds, they're literally just expected to show up and hopefully have a good season. Maybe they got a steal in the draft. And when they do, like Kareem Hunt,
draft picks are expected to be immediate starters.
Not at running back. I would argue that running back.
You're expecting Swift?
I think it depends.
Taylor and Dobbins to just not do anything.
You think A.J. Dillon's going to come be the starter in Green Bay?
No.
That's okay. He's like later first, but like I'm talking like Swift and Taylor and Dobbins. Okay. I'm expecting those.
I expected Swift or Taylor to go first round. I really did. Late first round. I thought pick 32 Chiefs.
Yeah.
They would have took one of them, not Edwards. But
we'll be talking about him later.
We are going to be talking about Edwards.
Okay. But my point is, I feel like if you're an early 2nd round pick or a late 1st round pick, yeah, I expect you to come out and play good ball. But if you're a 3rd round, 4th round pick or later in the draft as a running back, you really fell that far because you didn't perform well at the combine or didn't perform well enough in college to say you're a top pick. The top running backs always go early. Look at like the best ones.
Miles Sanders was a 2nd round pick.
So like there's those cases of like running backs that come in the 2nd or 3rd, like Kareem Hunt, Miles Sanders, that were later seconds late early thirds or fourths that they just got overlooked at their colleges or their pro day or their combine stats or whatever it was, and they got drafted late and they broke out. It happens all the time. Totally understand that, and I'm fine with Miles Sanders having a good year last year. But I'm saying is, like, there's so many other kids. There's so many other kids that come out and get on the roster spot that start breaking out at running back that you just never even know that was going to happen. Like, it's happened more times at that position than I think any other position personally. So, saying there's nobody on the roster spot, dude, Philip Lindsay was undrafted. He went from nobody on the roster spot to starting running back last year and was balling.
How many Philip Lindsays are there in the NFL? How many undrafted running backs?
There's not a lot of undrafted ones, but I'm like just saying, like, if anybody, and all these other guys that are just like not that great, they get the opportunity because running backs wear the fastest, so they're gonna get snaps, they're gonna get touches, and when they break out with it, like Miles Sanders did last year, he gets the starting job. Like, that's what happens. So if the backup running back starts busting out yardage, they're gonna start splitting carries. So I don't sit there and say there's nobody on the roster. I'm not saying that there's gonna be somebody
why
there.
would you not let Miles Sanders get carries if he's averaging 4.5 yards a carry?
He's gonna get the carries. I'm not saying he's not gonna get the carries. It's just he's not gonna get every single carry. They're not gonna 100% carry him. Like, it's just like never gonna happen in the history of the NFL. So the argument of saying there's nobody behind him is just like the craziest argument to say for a running back situation.
I think
there's a reason why they signed 3 other running backs.
225, I bet.
I mean, he might break 225, and that's fine, but there's still going to be a guy underneath him who's going to be trying to steal his job every time he touches the ball. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're taking out the second player.
That's in the NFL, though.
No, but you're taking
this is way off topic.
You're taking out the second player in overall, and you're like ranking these players higher because there is nobody else on the roster. Like, not every team has a dominant two-headed running back situation, but that doesn't mean they're dominant carrying teams either.
I mean, that's part of fantasy football, though. Like,
but teams that have two-headed running backs, running backs typically have more carries on their team than any other teams. Like, other than the Derrick Henry situation where he got, like, 300 carries last year?
Yeah.
Like, not many running backs take 300 carries a year. I mean, that's 2 running back situations for most teams. Like, look at Chris Carson and Penny. Like, look at Lindsey and Royce. Like, those guys are both very serviceable running backs, and they split carries, and that's usually what a lot of teams do if there's that option there. Miles Sanders is not going to become a workhorse and take upwards of 250, 300 carries in a year. That's just not going to happen. I mean, if it happens, that's insane. I just don't see it happening.
Even if he doesn't get to that high of a level of carries, though, I think, if he gets 50 receptions, 500 yards, like receiving, I think in a PPR league that could be enough to carry him to a top 15 spot.
I mean, like I said, if he makes top 15, like, I won't be like completely overly shocked, but I definitely could see him jumping into the top 18, in 18, 19, 20, being a top 20 back, and that's respectable. But I just don't see him breaking the top 15 personally.
All right. So moving on to 14. Yeah.
Yes. And I have Joe Mixon, and we think we've talked about him twice.
Wait, are we still on 13? I have Fournette at 13. We kind of talked about him.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like we didn't go too in depth with Fournette. I mean,
yeah, I have him at 15, so we could talk about him now.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I learned this morning that Jay Gruden is actually the OC in Jacksonville, and that signing of Chris Thompson now kind of makes me worried about how much receiving work. Well, definitely how much receiving work Fournette's gonna get, and maybe a little bit into his carries. But to me, that receiving work is kind of what is keeping Fournette like in that top 15 for me, because as much as you hate this argument, last year he had I think 50 receptions because they literally had no one else to throw to.
Last year he had 76.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and like that's like if your running back can get that, I don't see how you can't have him as a RB1, but now with Chris Thompson there, I think that number drops significantly.
No, I mean, I could see him falling out with losing some receptions for sure there, because I definitely don't think he's gonna repeat 75 receptions. So that's kind of high for him personally. So I could definitely see.
Pass catching back.
Yeah, no, he's really not. So I could definitely see that changing, him falling a little bit. With Chris Thompson signing and all that, I feel like it kind of damages the fact that I had him at like 8 or 9. I think I had him at 9 yesterday. I think that's what I had him at. I had him at 10. I think like that could damage that where he falls outside the top 10, but definitely falling outside the top 15. I don't expect that to happen. I feel like he's gonna kind of fit in that scheme to between 10 and 15, and I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt to be in the single like 10s. You know what I mean?
It also depends on what the front office is like.
Well, yeah, it all rides on is he gonna get traded?
If they sign well, no, they might cut him. Honestly, if they sign a if they sign a, I mean, it's very unlikely. Don't get me wrong, but it very well could happen if they replenish their depth chart.
Yeah, I don't
very unlikely though.
I don't see a cut coming. Like I think that's I think there's like a 90% chance that he does not get cut. So
I would agree. But it's just that possibility. It scares me. I don't know.
I feel like they're definitely looking to shop him more than they are to cut him for sure. I mean,
yeah, that's probably true.
I mean, they're definitely gonna want to replenish a pick for him at least in the least end of it.
Did you guys hear the Fantasy Footballers episode today?
No, I
haven't listened to it.
I guess I don't know if this is true or not, but they were saying that they saw that the Jags couldn't even get a 7th round pick for Fournette when trying to shop him. So I don't think trading's gonna be.
I mean,
it's really surprising. I wonder why.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
like there's something else it's just that
it's like he's a bad person to have in the locker room or something.
It's like the Zeke holdout thing. Like just going into draft day, it's like I don't know what kind of off the field antics he has. Like he very well could get benched throughout the whole year, and that.
I don't see that. But, I mean, I feel like that's just one of those things where I think it's more just a rumor that's being spread like that. I don't think anybody is not going to give them at least a 3 or a 4 for him. I mean, I really feel
why would they lie about that though? It's just.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's being a lie. I just feel like that might just be a rumor spreading. I mean, people make crap up all the time. Not them, but maybe that's just something they're looking up and they see it. Something like that. I'm just saying, in general, I don't think somebody wouldn't give them a decent pick for him. I mean, he's been pretty productive over his 3 years. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? There's not.
People could be scared of the injury from his sophomore year.
It could be, but
stupid hip. Was it his hip or
I thought it was his ankle.
Running backs are so devalued nowadays in the NFL. And
hamstring. It was his hamstring. That's what it was.
Yeah. So Scott had texted me this morning and said, "Did you see that Jay Gruden is now the OC of the Jags?" And we were kind of talking about how that might affect a Fournette ranking.
So
aside from the stuff that he has going on with the front office.
My bad, guys. Just out here changing your rankings. I got you.
I didn't change him.
I haven't changed him. He would just ask me if I had seen the news. So before the show I was looking up some stuff on Jay Gruden. It's obviously you think of the Redskins running game, you're pass.
Yeah.
But in 2011, 2012, and 2013, he was the OC for the Bengals, and he had Cedric Benson and Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis as his running backs.
Yeah.
And they actually did have 250 plus rushes, 1,000-yard seasons. So if he goes back to that as an OC, then the volume could definitely be there for Fournette.
Was he there during the Giovanni Bernard and
no, I think that was 2015.
Yeah, that was
2015. There was what was the other back at that time? That was a good tandem backfield too for the Bengals.
Bernard and
I know who you're talking about.
Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, Hill and Bernard. That was a pretty solid backfield. That was one of those situations where they didn't have just one, so Scott wouldn't put either one in their top 10.
Not true.
Scott's just gonna get roasted for that.
I have Kamara in my top.
No, but they have Lamar Murray, so that's just a slight slide piece, where he's not really gonna get many carries. So he's basically a number 1, right? So he's a single person just by himself almost. Because Latavius Murray.
I'm sorry, that didn't make any sense.
Latavius Murray's not really there. He's just barely
there.
there.
He's there.
Like Latavius Murray's not on the same par as any of the other running backs we talked about. But okay. All right, moving on to we're on 14, right? But I have Joe Mixon, and we've already talked about him twice now, so I really don't want
Yeah.
I have Austin Eckler at 14.
I got TG3.
TG3. So
We can talk about Todd again. Or we'll make it quick.
We kind of talked about him. Yeah.
yeah, I kind of
episode.
summarized that whole Todd situation
As
because he was
he's
number
your
9.
boy.
Yeah, he was number 9. Like I said, I really do feel like he'll have a good break back out year. So I mean,
I could definitely see that happening.
I agree.
So I'm okay with that move. And like
I'm
I
just
said,
scared of his knee.
9 to 14 is not a bad number gap for us. I mean, I feel like that's solid there. And then you have him.
I have him at 15, but yeah.
So I mean, because you're always gonna be the odd man out. I mean,
okay. I have him one rank under
Hey,
Hayden.
hey,
Odd man out.
listen, they've got one
Maybe
running
you're-
back there.
Maybe you're the odd man
Yo,
out.
they only got like one running back there, okay, man? Like I don't understand why he's not like number 3 for you.
He would if his knee was perfectly healthy.
I'm pretty sure he'd
scared
be
of his
number
knee.
3 for all of us if his knee was perfectly healthy. He'd still be playing for the Rams if his knee was perfectly healthy. I mean,
That is also true.
with the $60 million deal there. I mean, come on. But no, I mean, like, I definitely feel like he was underpaid. He took a contract on the low because of the money he got after the cut. So took that extra money and said, I can take a small contract. I think he's really going to come out and say, I'm fine. I'm going to show everybody I'm fine. Freaking hit some moves on people.
I hope he does.
Make people look
Yeah,
silly. And
same.
we're going to have Todd Gurley right back in fantasy play next year. I think I'm going to snag him in
that would be nice.
I think I'm really going to snag him about the 3rd round. And everybody's going to be like, that's a horrible pick in the 3rd round. But
I would take him in the 3rd.
yeah, well, I'm gonna take him in the 3rd.
I probably
I'm
would
telling you.
too.
I'm telling
Now
you.
I'm taking
Yeah,
him in the
well,
second. This guy's.
Yeah, now I'm gonna take him in the 2nd. You better take him in the
Alright.
1st. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, it's Todd Gurley. We know what he's capable of doing. Now, if he can do it, pull it out on paper, and give us some stats for our fantasy league, that's what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then I have Austin Eckler at 14, but
yeah, again, check down monster. Definitely see him in the top 10. I think that's insane.
that's if Herbert's quarterback.
Yeah, if Herbert's quarterback.
But honestly, like even with you never know with rookie quarterbacks, I guess.
I guess.
I might adjust Mixon come closer to draft day, and once I hear some stuff from camp, but just rookie quarterbacks, that's a variable that's very scary, in my opinion.
Hang on, Megan.
Hayden, do you agree? Because I know Michael doesn't.
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with you. Yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation to me. I'm not opposed to him being in my top 20. I just don't have him there right now because I don't know what's gonna go on. I'm not even sure if they know what's gonna go on. So
Yeah, that's also. I don't think the Chargers really know what's happening. There's whoever wins training camp.
I remember last year I think it was on a Footballers episode. They were like, the worst place to be right now in the world would be in the GM's office of San Diego Chargers or the Los Angeles Chargers, and I was like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's all over the place over there. I mean, like I said, I could see a lot of I was actually thinking about this last night a little bit, so it's good that we came back to this. I could see a lot of swaps in that offense where quarterback could be coming in and out doing tandem stuff. Because
that throws off the offense.
Yeah,
so
it throws
much.
off the offense completely. I could see a lot of runs with Tyler Taylor, and really just the veteran coming in, taking a couple of snaps here and there, and then the rookie coming in and doing the little the accurate passes and stuff like that because that's what he's better
And run
at.
that Saint style offense.
Yeah, I could see that, and that really will throw off how well the running back game actually goes. I mean, in a tandem offense, you just don't see the running back usually flourish. So I mean, I was thinking about that last night.
Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara.
Yeah, like I said, I was thinking that after the fact. So
Eckler does fit that mold.
true.
Yeah,
true.
he does
I
kind of have
mean,
that same physique.
But I mean, you just have no idea what they're gonna do. The Chargers are such a wild card team. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah. Until more news comes out, I think personally I would kind of stay away from him. If
Yeah.
the draft was tomorrow and I could get him in late 4th
I'd get
or
him
something,
in the 3rd. I'd go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still wild here.
Depending on who my first pick
I
was,
think in our draft he'll go in the 1st round. I think.
Really?
I definitely think somebody will snag
Well,
him
yeah,
in the 1st round.
that's because Wicked's got 6 accounts.
Yeah. So he has one of them unlocked. He's
Yo,
like, yeah,
guys,
I got one
guys.
taking Eckler. I got one taking
Yo, guys.
Rogers.
On the side
I got
though,
one
I mean, like, I
Brady.
got a couple new friends that want to join the league. We're gonna make it a 12-man
Oh,
league.
of course you do.
Nah, their names. Don't worry about their names, okay? Like,
Email, email is not Michael at yahoo.com.
But side note, I've never cheated in my life. So you guys are trying to slander my name over here. But questionable. What?
Moving on.
We're gonna hash this on stream right now. Like,
Number
he's just mad because he
15,
got whooped.
I got Todd and Gurley. So,
I think
My
we
15 we
need to
just
talk
got
about
done
Todd.
talking about in Fournette.
Yeah, we don't gotta talk about either one of them. So let's just talk about the guy, the new Broncos signing, the old Charger player,
Melvin Gordon. Oh my.
Melvin Gordon. I mean, people over here honestly think that Melvin Gordon's done. I mean, he sat out a couple games. The man didn't die. He didn't get injured. I mean, he had a very respectable second half of the season coming back when he got limited snaps. I mean, like, are we really gonna act like the man's like done?
I just think Lindsey's just gonna eat into that work.
No, I definitely don't. Like, that's why Lindsey didn't make my top 15 or my top 20. I like Lindsey, and I was really hyped for him last year. But with us signing Melvin Gordon, that's a power play for sure. I mean, we're looking at wanting to have a
Weren't you
definitive...
just rambling about how like Lindsey was like dominant?
Said, 5 seconds
back?
ago, literally
Yeah.
5 seconds ago, I just said I liked Lindsey.
That they signed
Did
Melvin
you hear
Gordon.
me,
and
Hayden?
Lindsey's just
Did you
not
hear
gonna
me,
get
Hayden?
a
5
lot of the
seconds
work.
ago, I just said I like Lindsey. I thought he had a
You're-
great season last year, but it's a power play, and that's why we signed Melvin Gordon. So we have a definitive number one. And you're literally like not listening to what I said. I just said that.
Yeah, but so you think they're just not going to use Lindsey now?
No, I don't think they're
That's-
not going to
I don't-
not use Lindsey. I think they're going to go to a check down system with Lindsey. He's going to be the pass catching back. We're going to be a lot more workhorse driven towards Melvin Gordon, and we're going to take out as many passes as we can and go more to checkdowns and running the ball. I think that's the scheme we're about to go to. Like, we haven't seen that Drew
Why
Lock,
would you draft a receiver in the first round?
we haven't seen that Drew Lock is going to be the quarterback of the future. So we're going to go to a power running back scheme with Gordon, who's very finesseful. Add check downs with Lindsey, and have a quarterback that throws a 10-yard out to a freaking perfect slant receivers in Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. I think that's the scheme. I think that's exactly how we're about to play it, and that's going to
Sounds
work.
like football to me.
It's going to work. Like, we're not going to be looking for deep down the field stuff. We're looking for 5 to 10-yard moves on, like, our plays, and that's just, like, what we're going for.
That sounds like 80% of the NFL.
We're gonna perfect it. Denver's gonna perfect it.
Okay. Okay.
Like, Melvin Gordon's a huge power play for us. He's seriously still a top 10 back. I only have him at 15 because it's kind of hard to say after sitting out 9 games if he's gonna come back into the center fold and just start balling. But I definitely think you're gonna be looking at him back in the top 15 for sure.
Aiden, what are your thoughts about Gordon?
Well, in his 5 years of his career, he's only, whether it's his choice or not, he's only played 16 games once. And he's only gotten over 1,000 rushing yards once, and he's never had over 50 receptions.
Yeah, we're not
So
gonna
you
use
take-
him.
Really? He's never had over 50?
Well, he's had over 50 one time, sorry.
Okay.
At 58 once. In
Not
2017.
2016. Oh, 2017.
Yeah, and so if you take all that into account with like what Wicked just said, that he's like coming off of a 9-game break, I don't see him coming back and splitting time with someone, like Lindsey, and being a top 10 or top 15 back.
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I just definitely got to go with the fact that he's going to become the main guy over there, and it's Melvin Gordon. He's a very good running back. I mean, he
I
showed
do
that
think he has
pass.
talent.
Homer pick.
Hey, I mean, I
It's
can't
fine.
talk.
We
I
all
had
got it.
Jones up at 7, so.
Yeah, I have
Hey.
Mostert in the top 20, so I can't argue.
Well,
He is,
I'm glad we're about to have some different running backs on the
Yeah.
show here in a second, finally. All right, so who's your
Yeah.
15, though?
We already talked about my 15 for net.
Okay.
I think
And
we're on
yours?
16 now.
Yeah.
Who's
Mine was-
yours?
Mine was Todd Gurley.
right, yeah, so we're on 16 now.
I think my 16 is an interesting pick. I don't
Mine
think you
is
guys will
Chris
have him in
Carson,
your top 20.
so we don't have to talk about him.
Yours is wild. What's
My
yours?
16 is gonna be my kind of like a sleeper pick, Devin Singletary.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Ooh.
With,
That's a
with
that could
Frank
be
Gore
a
leaving
keeper.
sophomore year, I could see that,
But
working
they
out.
did draft a running back in the 3rd round, I think.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he'll eat into his work a little bit.
I will
but
say that this pick or this ranking is subject to, I guess, training camp. Yeah.
Dude, I feel like all these rankings are subject to training
I mean,
camp.
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, not like Christian McCaffrey or
Yeah.
Saquon, but yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, actually, I totally don't mind that pick at all. I mean, I feel like he's gonna have a better year than he did last year without Frank Gore there. I mean, in Wett's situation, he's definitely a top 10 because he's the only one back there now. He's number 1. Nobody's there.
He's not the only one back.
I mean,
back
no one else there
there.
in Wett's opinion. Frank Gore's gone.
Yes,
So
I'm literally saying that's not true, and you're disputing me right in front of my face about my own opinion.
I mean, yeah, he only got 150 attempts last year. Didn't get that many
and he was
targets
injured
either.
for like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
And
sure.
he did get injured. He only played 12 games, so I think healthy season, gets maybe
I could
50
see
more
it.
rushing
I could
attempts.
see it. I don't mind that at all. I don't have him personally in my top 20, but I honestly kind of feel like I slept on that a little bit. I feel like he definitely could be in that top 20.
Same
Now,
here,
yeah.
personally.
I feel like I kind of slept on it, like exactly what you meant, sleeper there. I feel like he could definitely be in there, so I'm okay with that. I should honestly put him in over Drake. Honestly, I mean that sounds.
Okay, I don't know about that, but for me, like it's just him in the past. Like he is a lethal weapon in the past.
I think he's solid
He's a
all
shady
around.
guy.
Honestly.
Like
Yeah.
in that playoff game, I don't know why Buffalo stopped feeding him the ball because they built that lead. And if you look
Yeah.
at like
Listen,
Singletary's stats,
there's a
like,
lot of
he
things
had like
we wonder what
100.
Buffalo did, right? Like,
Yeah, he had like 140 scrimmage yards at that point, and then I think they gave him 3 carries after that, and they ended up losing the game.
Let's just talk about Buffalo's just history in general here. They drafted O.J. Simpson, murderer.
Okay, so we are not just. I'm
What kind of
cutting you off.
podcast did I join here?
they traded Marshawn Lynch. Dumb.
What's your point?
They don't know how to utilize running backs, so you're asking what they did in the playoffs, not feeding him. It makes perfect sense. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, they went to 4 Super Bowls and didn't win any of them. I mean, in a row.
The fact that you just brought up O.J. Simpson talking about Devin Singletary is just I can't.
Yeah, Scott, I was just looking at that though. I remember I was driving back to school and I was listening to this game on the radio, so I didn't actually notice it. But yeah, he was averaging 4.5 yards a carry, and he had 6 receptions for almost 80 yards.
Yeah, like he was.
But they only gave him 13 rushing attempts, and they only targeted him 7 times. He was like a workhorse, and they were just like,
Yeah.
maybe next year.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but like
yeah, I'm okay with it.
He's just I love his game. He's very talented, but and I am scared about Josh Allen though, taking away some rushing touchdowns.
All right, so who'd you have at 16 with?
I had Chris Carson.
Chris Carson. So we already talked about him. All right, so mine's kind of mine's one of those things of out of respect for what he used to be, he's still in my top 20.
Oh my! These are usually not good.
This might be the guy at my 17. I'm kind of curious.
This is all honesty.
Might be my 17 too.
He might all honestly not make it in the top 20 personally, but Mark Ingram.
Oh, that is my 20.
Yeah, he's still very serviceable. I think he's a really good running back still, and he helps out that Ravens offense in a dynamic standpoint. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't get the same amount of carries he used to. So I could definitely see this pick being a little bit dropped back. But I feel like you never know which Mark Ingram you're going to get. You mean?
Yeah.
I agree. I think this is his last year, though.
It's
Baltimore. And then I think it's going to be Dobbins' team. But
yeah. And that's right there is why I'm you just don't know what's going to happen here. It might be Dobbins' team this year, So in that
That's
sense,
that's also true.
in that sense, like that's why I've got him so low. Because honestly, if I knew he was going to get the workload and just the straight amount of carries that he's used to, he's probably a top 10 back. I mean, or fringe. I mean, like 12, 13. But you just don't know, man. You just don't know with him, especially with the rookie running back there. That situation and the way they run the ball with their quarterback, just like you were saying with Josh Allen, it's like you just don't know how much load he's really going to get. He's not a huge pass catching back, so I mean, if it's not,
Yeah, I think Dobbins would
yeah,
definitely take on that work.
so like I'm okay at like 16 to 20 with him, but like if you're wasting anything other than like a third or fourth round pick on him, like you're drafting too high,
Yeah,
like for sure.
I'd
I agree. His age is kind of scary. He's gonna turn 31 in December.
No, I mean
that's like a grandpa for
yeah,
back.
and I actually used to like really like Mark Ingram back in the day, especially when he was
I did
like,
too. Yeah,
you know, Alabama running
Saints.
back.
I had him during Kamara's breakout year.
Yeah, no, he was really good there.
And those
If-
two
that's
duo
that's
is
what
just
scares me a
lethal.
little bit right there is because like Mark Ingram paid his dues in New Orleans to finally get the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, Kamara breaks out. He's done. They ship him. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
And then he's doing good in Baltimore. They
Yeah,
drafted
he
a
hit
rookie running
1,000
back.
yards last
yeah,
season.
they drafted a
Yeah,
rookie running
I mean,
back. They're gonna ship
running
him.
back is
So-
a tough market, man.
Yeah, it really
It
is.
is.
I would never want my kids to be running backs in the
That's
NFL.
one of those. He's one of those people that I hope stays in the top 20.
Yeah.
But
Like
we'll see.
that's what I said. As respect for who he was and what I know he's capable of, he's definitely a top 20 in my eyes, at least. I mean, so who do you guys have at
All right.
16 though?
16, yeah. I had
I
Carson.
think we're on 17. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're on 17.
Mark
I
Ingram
have
was my
Le'Veon
16.
Bell.
Mark Ingram was my 16. Who was your 16?
My 16 was Singletary.
Oh, Singletary. Okay, so we were
I
on
started
16.
16 off.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I forgot.
We are
Scott over here just has the same exact. Like he has like the worst people that you know, as like the late people. So we've already talked about all of them because they're all top players, and he's got them.
No, they're not.
I mean, because they split carries, they're not top players.
Scott, you want to start 17 because I have Bell at 18.
Dude, he probably has.
I
Like,
have. All right, I'll
Kamara or
start
something.
17 with Le'Veon Bell. Ong.
Would you
I
like
think-
to speak as to why you have him at
Yeah,
17?
I just think that
It's easy.
I don't, dude. Frank Gore kind of scares me a little bit, not a lot, but
Not
like
at
he's
all.
definitely going to
0%.
eat into probably 20% of the carries.
I'm
I'd
not worried
say.
about Frank Gore in the lightest. Man retired to come back to the Jets to just retire again. Like he's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
think-
the Brett Favre of the Jets.
I think he's going to get utilized. Also, just I don't like the Jets' offense. Like it's not a very good offense.
I mean, they've got a struggling
I'd-
quarterback.
I don't like Adam Gase. So
We've discussed that in like 3 episodes now.
dude, I'm serious. I don't like him.
On next week's episode, we're just going to talk about Adam Gase for an hour.
I know that's what I'm saying.
I'm down. I'll bag on him.
So, here's why I have him at 18.
That's where I have him, too.
It's sheerly off the fact that it's not that he's not talented. It's the fact that the offensive line is horrific.
Yeah.
That's also true.
They have a struggling quarterback that is not doing well right now. Sam Darnold needs to pick it up, but also he's behind a line that, like I said, is horrific. The receivers don't help out
They
a lot.
did
They
draft
don't.
a lineman though.
One lineman doesn't fix 5. Okay.
Well, you've been like for the Giants, you were like, oh, they like added a piece to their line.
They
It's gonna
already
be a
had Will
lot better.
Hernandez and the other rookie they got like last year. They already were building their offensive line.
They got Daniel Jones last year. What?
Well, not in the first round. They got a lineman later in the rounds last year, who starts for them this year. But my point is for the Jets is like they haven't like touched their line in a few years. It seems like, and it's actually horrific. So for that situation, they really need to build that offensive line up before their running backs can really perform. Like I think Lev Bell honestly is gonna be looking for an out there. Also, I don't think he wants to stay in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Well,
For much longer.
Adam Gase, I think, wants
So-
him out. Like,
So I
when-
feel like that's going to be
Yeah.
happening as well. So I don't feel like he's going to be putting forth a lot of effort to become like. I think he just really wants to be shopped at this point. And the way he does it, he just sits out. So you just never know which Le'Veon Bell you're going to get. if you're talking about the Steelers, Le'Veon Bell 2-3 years ago, man was a monster, and it was like clearly a number 1 or number 2 pick.
Back to back 1,300-yard rushing season.
But this Lev Bell is overweight and lazy and doesn't have a line to save him at all.
Yeah, I think that Steelers just line was better. The system was better.
I feel like Lev Bell was better. I feel like he wasn't lazy. I mean, he gained 20 pounds before he went and actually came back from his little 9-month hiatus.
He's gonna take a beating back there. He needed to put on some muscle.
Man gained like 20 pounds and lost like freaking probably like a quarter of a second on his speed. I mean, and that's a lot when you're talking about like a 40-yard dash speed. Like, I mean, he dropped quite a bit. I mean. I feel like he has the potential on the skill level to be a top 5, but he doesn't have like the willpower or the heart anymore to want to be.
I don't think the system will let him be.
The Jets are off just horrible. I think he's never gonna break any records as a Jet. Like, and I think honestly, if we're ever gonna see like the real Lev Bell again, he needs to get shipped out. He has to get shipped out, and he has to go somewhere else, and he's gonna have to actually put forth the effort to get back into what he used to be, because right now where he's at is just a sham of himself from what he used to be.
Oh, see, like I still think he's talented. I think just
I drafted him.
He's
last
in
year.
a horrendous.
I had him last year in one of my fantasy leagues, and it was like the worst decision I ever made in my life. I drafted him and
you had to
Saquon.
use a first rounder on him.
I had him and Saquon, and I'm thinking this is great, and it was a waste of freaking time. I mean, you don't.
Wait, how'd you get him and Saquon?
It was a auction.
Oh,
league.
Auction, yeah. You do auction drafts.
Yeah.
I don't think the the rushing yards are going to be there to,
they're not. I mean,
but he is like definitely I don't think the
Sorry.
touchdowns are really going to be there either. The Jets don't really like to do that.
If
He'll
for
have
some
receptions,
reason,
and that's about it.
Yeah, I think the receptions will make him like fantasy relevant, but I don't think he's going to be like definitely not a top 15 back.
No, not at all. I mean, and we're talking
as long
about
as the Stooge Bandit can stay healthy this year, he'll get some more receptions.
We're talking about he's barely a top 20. I mean, and that's like, any production drops, he's not even a top 20. I mean,
3 years ago he was the number 1 overall pick, and now he's the 18th running back.
Running back,
I mean, and we're talking like third rounder. I mean,
like third or fourth rounder. Honestly, I'd probably take him in the fourth.
I mean,
would you take CEH over him, Scott? Bless you.
Huh?
Would you take CEH over him? No, Edwards.
Yeah, I'm thinking. In redraft, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So like, I like Lev Bell. I really hope to see him perform at a higher level. But I really feel like that's gonna take him going to a different roster, going and play for somebody else. I mean, in all honesty, like, send him down to a team that just has any kind of offensive line, and we're talking about a Le'Veon Bell that is a premier back. You mean? Yeah. But for the Jets, I mean, he could have a good year this year, but it's never gonna even come close to what he had with the Steelers.
I agree.
I mean, honestly, he should have just stayed with the Steelers. He didn't even get a higher contract than what he was gonna sign with the Steelers for, with what they offered him. He literally got hit with the same kind of contract and went to a crappier team.
Yeah, but there was a lot of problems in that Steelers locker room, I feel like.
Yeah,
there was.
I
get that. I get that. But
before ruined some drama over there.
Yeah. But before all that, Lev Bell still just chose to sit out over money, not over the drama. I mean,
that's true.
So in the sense of it being like he was trying
There's something
to
in the
make
water
money.
in Pittsburgh.
He was trying to make a money move and make running backs more relevant, and he felt like doing so it would allow other running backs to do the same thing and make them more relevant and make more money. And then all it did is it backfired. He got paid the same, if not less. Melvin Gordon tried the year later, and Melvin Gordon tried the year later. They barely put him back on the offense when he came back, and then he gets released at the end of the year. They didn't want to re-sign him, so like. And then he got paid $16 million. So doing that whole sit out 9 months thing, the holdout thing, didn't work. That's why Elliott didn't stick with it. Like, he knew that
Elliott
wasn't
got
gonna
his
work.
contract.
Like, Elliott knew that wasn't going to work. He saw what happened to Lev Bell. Like, he saw Melvin Gordon was going to start doing the holdout thing, and it didn't work for any of them.
I mean, I'd say it worked for Elliott.
I mean, Elliott got paid, but Elliott was going to get paid either way. I mean, Elliott was going to hold out for more money, and it just wasn't going to work. You aren't quarterbacks. You're not going to, get paid like a quarterback. It's just not going to happen. Like they're so
Well, I
undervalued.
think like the turnover rate of running backs is just too high.
Yeah, it's way too high.
Yeah, that's
they're
what
they're
it is.
super
So,
underrated positions. So it's just life.
yeah.
But yeah, Lev Bell.
It's like if you want to replace your running back, you just draft one in the first round.
We're talking about a
for
guy
a lot
that.
cheaper.
Yeah, if we're talking about a guy
Yeah.
that if he would have just stayed with the Steelers, I think you were talking about a career that, is up there with the other, top running backs in the league right now. I mean, Zeke and those guys.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about him as a 20th overall in a ranking system, possible third,
All
fourth
right, can
round
we
in fantasy.
move
It's
on? This is
ridiculous.
making me sad. Okay, I don't. 'Cause I had Lev Bell on the Steelers in his 50-point
Yeah.
game, and that was amazing. That will never happen again.
All right, so
Probably.
my number 17 is also going to make you a little sad because it's another guy that has gotten shafted by the
nostalgia pick?
system. He's gotten shafted by the system a little bit, and he's finally got a new home. So hopefully he has a good breakout year.
Oh, I have
We have the
this guy
same
at-
17 pick.
yeah, I have
David
him at
Johnson.
18. Yeah, I have him at 18.
Yeah, so I have him and Lev Bell swapped.
Yeah, and it's definitely one of those things where, again, a top player that just kind of like, injuries really plagued his career. It wasn't anything with the holdout crap, but I mean, if he's healthy, I really feel like David Johnson's a very capable, very smart, back. I mean, you're talking about somebody that for 3 seasons was top 5. I mean, just
Yeah, you
busting out.
won me my first title.
Yeah. And I mean, like
way back in the day.
he's only 27 or 8. Like he's not that old. I mean,
He's 28, yeah. He'll
Yeah.
be 29 in December.
so it's like one of those things where, like, he definitely has a lot in the tank if he stays healthy, and I like him. I like him actually higher if he's healthy all year because I feel like in that offense for the Texans, he's gonna get more work than he got last year for sure in the Arizona offense. And when he was getting work in the beginning of the year, and like Scott can attest to this, he's getting 20 points a game. I mean,
yeah,
I
he
mean,
was like he was definitely a top 10 back.
yeah, he was
Easy.
really serviceable back.
Are you talking about last year?
Yeah, last year when he was getting
like
work.
the first 7 games.
It
and then
was
he
like-
got hurt.
It was like he had
They-
that little
they traded
injury.
for Drake,
They had that
and they
little
just stopped
injury,
using him.
and Kingsbury just did not like him. Like Kingsbury did not like him at all. Like they cleared him from his injury in like week 9. He got 1 carry, and then they were like, yeah, we're done. And
Yeah.
he basically
Yeah,
never saw the field the rest of the year.
I have a not safe for this podcast nickname for him, but
Yeah, that's what made me laugh as soon as he said that. Because you were like walking around the house or something, just pissed.
saying that
What was it?
I'm not saying it on the podcast.
All
I'll
right.
type it in the chat. I'll type
Well,
it in.
I can't see the chat, so
Oh well, it'll be a surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm totally fine with David Johnson being a top 20 back. I think that's a good
Yeah.
serviceable pick. Probably late second, early third, maybe mid third pick. And
I
I feel
probably
like it's a good picking spot for him in the 3rd round. I think if you're getting him in the 3rd round, it's a very usable pick on him.
I'd probably take him 3rd or 4th.
yeah.
I
I'm
feel-
leaning more towards early 4th.
I don't know if he'll still be
Personally.
there in the 4th, man. Like,
Yeah, he probably won't, but that's just where I take him.
I think I'm leaning towards like literally mid 3rd personally. Like,
To me,
I mean,
if,
I don't
like,
think he's ever going to repeat his 2016 season where he had like 1,200
Well-
rushing yards and 800 receiving yards.
I mean, I guess
Yeah,
he
I don't think that's
probably
gonna happen.
won't. I mean, all the injuries he's went through his career, he's probably not going to be in that same level. But the only other person that reminds me of him, like the way that they bounce back from injuries, is Adrian Foster.
I mean, Arian Foster.
Arian Foster,
Foster.
yeah. He bounced back
Yeah.
from like every injury he ever had, and
Yeah.
still just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and was just like serviceable for his whole career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, I mean, he's going to the same system that he played in as well, and I feel like that's going to help him, push forward and get into this situation. He's very hyped to be in a new situation. If you looked at any of his tweets or anything like that, he was like ready to get out of Arizona. So I hope that
Yeah,
just
he wasn't
fuels the fire and
played.
lets him like break out again. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we
All
both
right.
we all have the same 17 and 18. So we've just talked
Yep.
about Bell and David
Yeah,
Johnson there.
like Lev Bell, David Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So my
19.
Moving on to
19,
19.
my 19's a little bit.
My
like-
19's juicy.
I wonder if we have the
Hayden.
same 19.
Mine's a
I
reach.
think we do.
Mine's a reach.
Let's let Wicked go first.
RJ2.
I would say that's a reach.
I would say that's a reach as
Did you
well.
say 19th or 39th?
19.
Yeah, I think that rookie there is gonna steal the
I
job
mean,
from him.
I don't think he's gonna.
I don't know.
Steal the job
I
from
just
him.
don't think Ronald Jones is that. He hasn't shown me anything.
I think in the games I think he played some really good games last year that gave me the spark of like, man, he's solid. You mean?
Yeah, I know he had that one game over 100 yards, but he got I think like 25 carries at least.
Well, I mean, he also had a game where he had like a huge amount of catches, man. Like he's been like,
Yeah.
he had a few
did.
games last year where he was like big numbers, like 17s, 18-point games. Where I
So
was
his-
just sitting there going,
His
like,
last
crazy.
game of the year last year against Atlanta, he had 11 attempts for 106 yards,
Mhm.
and he's
I
had a
don't-
couple 8 reception games.
Yeah.
Honestly, I exclude all week 17 stats from my
Well,
fantasy
That's
ranking.
fair.
That's fair,
Personally.
but what I'm saying is like, if you look at his
That's like-
numbers over the year,
Go
he
look
had-
at
he
Derrick
was-
Henry's game
Hey,
logs, for example.
he
but-
was very serviceable in the pass catching game, and a very solid running back, especially when he finally got the job. He didn't start the first like 5 weeks or something like that. Okay, like he got the job in like week 6 to be the starting back.
yeah.
So like he finished like 28, 29 or something like that in the running backs, maybe 30th. And
Yeah, right around there.
yeah, and he only started, 3/4 of the year. I mean, so in that sense, it's a pretty good number standpoint, and I feel like he's going to increase on that. The only thing that worries me a little bit is it depends on how they run that offense. Because if Tom Brady has a lot of say in it, obviously you've seen what happened in New England. They didn't run the ball that much, so I don't want to see him as just a pass catcher and just catching passes because I don't think that's his shining ability. He's pretty good on the ground. You mean? So
Yeah.
I think he's a good dual threat receiver, running back, where he can catch and run. So I don't want to see him just go reverting to just catching the ball, but I definitely see him getting utilized in that offense if they continue with the Bruce Arians offense and not like changing it up to suit Tom Brady. I mean, that's the only thing that worries me a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
why. But I definitely feel like he cracks the top 20 this year, if not like just barely. I don't care if it's 19 or 20. I just think he's cracking the top 20.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I guess.
I'm
if he gets the workload, I could see it, but I've just never
Yeah,
seen him
if-
get the workload, so it makes me nervous.
That's where, and also that rookie, I'm scared about that.
But
rookie.
he was
yeah.
but I think wasn't he a rookie last year?
No, he was a second-year player last year.
Yeah, it was a sophomore year.
Okay, so his sophomore year. I mean, I don't remember him ever getting any like real attempts his rookie year. And like I said,
Yeah, he had 20.
yeah, and like I said, his this last year, he got the
Basically his
job.
rookie.
He got the
know.
job basically his rookie year. Like saying he got the job after like week 5, and it was from that point on he just was building on it. So I'm just like,
I
okay
know
with it.
Bruce Arians is skeptical about his pass blocking, which is kind of why he's been sort of hesitant to give him that field time. So
Well, then
I
Bruce
think
Arians should just
if
trade
this-
him. Okay, I'll take him over here in Denver. We'll just go ahead triple head running backs over here.
if this rookie like outperforms him in pass blocking, I just don't see how Jones gets the volume.
Hey, like I said, this is my
it's like-
sleeper, my big jump pick. I mean, I'll take it.
That's fair. No, I could see it happening though. Like he just needs to beat out the rookie in the things that Tampa's gonna want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
I'll talk to you
which
in like
it
week 2 or week
could
3,
happen.
and I'll tell you if you were right or wrong.
Yeah, and we'll find out early. That's for
Hey,
sure.
I'll draft him like round 5. Don't worry.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll
I don't think that'd be a bad pick, to be honest.
All right. So who's your
All right.
number 19 over there, Scotty boy?
I got my boy, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back.
Where's the turn the camera
Kansas
off
City
button?
Chiefs.
There? I'm gonna turn this camera off.
I just want everyone to know out there that Scott and I don't like coordinate our rankings pre-episode, but
I
he is
feel
also my 19.
I really do feel like you guys kind of do sometimes.
No,
The
I
most
mean,
coordination
we're
we've
just
done is
great-
he texted me this morning and said, "Did you see that Jacksonville got a new OC? Do you think that'll affect Fournette?" And I don't
Y'all
even think
gotta
I
quit.
responded.
Y'all gotta quit cheating. This
No,
is a
you did.
debate. Y'all can't be coming up with the same argument. Just come against me. All right.
hey, great minds think.
The only argument I
alike.
have for Clyde is like obviously we don't have any stats on him and at this level, but like Patrick Mahomes and that offense and Andy Reid, I don't see how it could go wrong really.
Also, this was their guy. Like, the GM knew before the draft started that if he was there, they're picking him. He was Mahomes' guy as well.
There was
like,
no doubt.
I think. What?
There was no doubt that he was going to be there. Nobody was taking him before that. I mean, he wasn't even the number one grade at running back off the board. So like him coming.
No, but I'm saying this is this is Kansas City's number one guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's obvious because like there was no other running back coming off the board before him. Like it was still a shock to me they took him over Swift or.
Well, I think they just saw something in his gameplay that they thought would fit into their system.
Yeah, and they're going to use him day one. They are going to use him
as a pass catching back.
Yeah, and then he's just gonna rack up the receptions and maybe even get some rushing work. But I don't see him getting more than.
Is it because he's like
probably
the only running back over
150
there?
carries or something like that?
Is it because he's the only running back over there though that you went with this pick?
No, he's number 2 on the depth chart. Like,
hey. You don't even, you have number 2 on the depth chart making the top 20, but you don't have number 1 on the depth chart making the top 20? That makes no sense.
I do.
Do you understand how that doesn't make sense?
Can I explain? Or
all right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just going to go here.
One, Damian Williams is not the future of the Kansas City backfield. I don't think anyone here is going to disagree.
Wicked looks like Skip Bayless over there.
Yeah, he does.
It's going to nod off.
And I just think that he's just going to make an immediate impact in the passing game. Probably catch 80 or so passes. Like, if you look at all of Andy Reid's past like big time running backs, they're all guaranteed at least 70 receptions, and that should be enough to vault him. Like that alone, especially coming from Patrick Mahomes, that should vault him into the top 20.
So you just said all big-time pass-catching backs in Andy Reid's system automatically are guaranteed, 80 you said?
I said 70.
70, okay. Hey, just so you know, they had Shady last year.
Okay. He wasn't the main guy.
The main pass-catching back. That's who he was.
I would say, I'd argue that Damian Williams was.
Damian Williams was in and out of injury. Calm down.
I mean, Shady was also 30 years old last year, though.
Yeah,
Shady is Andy Reid's guy. Literally.
No, he's not.
They're boys. They go back to the Philly days.
They benched him last year.
Yeah, because pass catching backs are not the thing Mahomes cares about. Mahomes throws 55-yard bombs. Okay,
that's not true.
100-yard bombs.
Kareem Hunt.
He has Tyreek Hill. He has literally the human Sheeta over there, and he has a cannon. Literally, he has a cannon on his arm that launches the ball 100 yards. He's a friggin' robot, basically.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see Edwards on some halfback wheels.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. He's just not gonna I feel like if he's not hitting Edwards downfield 10-15 yards, he's not just gonna check down to him unless he's about to get hit.
They're gonna run wheel routes all day,
deep wheel routes maybe.
Because that's gonna be open. Because like you said, all the receivers are gonna be burning the top off.
No, not all of them. I said one.
I think Hill and Watkins are both very fast.
Chill on the Watkins. Okay. Watkins
ain't
that fast.
Look at his 40. He has a pretty fast.
Pull the 40
man's pretty speedy.
Pull the 40 up. Was it a 4.5?
Okay.
If it's not a 4.4 or lower, it's not that fast.
No.
Yeah, 4.4 or lower.
Yeah.
What is it?
So it's 4.43.
That's not bad. I mean, I wouldn't say he's just a burner, though. I mean, look at the guys
That's not bad. Isn't the record a 4.2?
Yeah, a 4.2. Yeah.
Oh, it's not bad. It's just
a 4.4 is quite a bit slower than a 4.2. Just so you know, in a 40 time.
Yeah,
sense.
but that's not.
I want you to go run a 40 real quick and tell me how fast you run it, okay?
Yeah, it's gonna be 6 seconds.
A 4.4 is pretty damn fast. but a 4.2 is like the difference between like him and like Sammy Watkins and John Ross racing. There's no way he's ever gonna beat John Ross because he's literally like a quarter of a second faster than him every time.
This is assuming John Ross is actually healthy.
Well, I mean, he can still run. Oh. I mean, he ain't got a broken leg. I mean, broken arm don't mean crap. I mean, chest pain don't mean nothing. I mean, sternum problems. Right. I mean, whatever. He can run. But moving on, who do you have at number? No, you said you had 19. You had the same guy.
Yep.
I get it. He's a rookie. I mean, anything can happen. I like the fact that we have a rookie in the list. I don't know about him. I'm not a fan. So I'm gonna go.
If we were doing a dynasty league, he would definitely be.
Oh, he'd be a lot higher. Yeah, he'd be a lot higher in my dynasty.
But yeah, we can move on. Who's your 19?
My 19 is Ronald Jones. We already talked about him.
Oh yeah.
So number 20. This is it.
We talked about my 20 already.
This is gonna close up the show right here. Who's your 20? Wet Scott? Whatever.
I got Raheem Mostert because I'm a homer.
Okay.
And they traded Breida. So
next.
I'm
Wicked. Who's your 20?
Next.
Oh my! We're just gonna okay. I can't.
The
Niners player belongs on any top 20 list.
That is. Yeah, that's probably true. Except for their defense.
I mean, Moster's nice, but I think he's a glorified return man, so I really wouldn't say he's a top 20 back.
Dude, you guys are. I have barely 20. Like, I don't know. You can do it.
I don't see it. But we could go ahead and talk about Mostert in a second. Let me finish up number 20 on my side real fast because it's going to be fast. It's Kenyon Drake, and that's pretty much it. He's just not that good. So moving on. Go ahead and finish up your Mostert talk, and then we'll be finishing up this episode.
Okay. I mean, for me, like Breida gets him traded. That's some more volume, I guess. That
yeah. Now is that official? Is he traded already?
Between him and
yeah, Breida
Coleman.
did get traded.
He did. Okay.
Yep.
And I think he just outperformed Tevin Coleman like pretty significantly last year. So I see him getting an uptick in carries, and just the Niners want to run the ball, and he's going to be a primary. It's like Mark Ingram. Like he's on a rushing team. He's going to get the work.
So did you hear what I basically said there? He's top 20 back because he's pretty much the only running back on the roster.
That's not. He's on a run first team. Like how can you like?
And he's the number 1 running back. So top 20. All right.
I mean, he is talented, and that Niners offense is just so like fast and quirky and weird that I could easily see him being in the top 20. I played against someone in fantasy that had Mostert last year, and both weeks I think he put up like 20 points. So we had, like last year he had these random spurts of putting up big numbers,
and I think that'll be the same
because he had to split so much time.
I think that'll be the same.
I think now he'll get more consistent work.
Well, I mean, I feel like he gets more consistent work, but that doesn't mean automatically that his numbers are just going to be super consistent 20s.
I think he'll have over 4.5 a carry. Like
a lot of these guys that get these spurts, when they get the starting job, that doesn't mean they're just going to be a lock for 20 plus carry, 20 plus points.
Yeah, I agree. But so in his 3 years in San Francisco, he's averaging 6 yards a carry over the 3 years.
Yeah.
So he is fast, and he has the talent, but
he's a big time running back. Yeah.
He'll probably get like 4.5, maybe 5.
Oh yeah, no. If he gets a lot of carries, he's not going to average 6. I'm just saying that it could be there.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but I'm just not taking any shots at him right here. But I mean, I just feel like he's more of a 25, personally. I feel like he's quite a bit out of the top 20 looking in.
Okay.
I mean, but anything can happen, honestly.
He's like that Squidward meme, looking down at SpongeBob and Patrick from the window.
Yeah, basically, yeah. All right, guys, so that'll be the end of the show today, though. We are gonna have to wrap it up there. We will be coming back with another episode on receivers next. We'll be doing the same kind of concept on this one. We'll do the top 10 receivers and then the back 10 receivers. So 1 through 10, 11 through 20. I think that'll be coming on the next episode, which will probably be out, I assume, Friday. Yeah. So like always, like, comment, subscribe, leave us your feedback, tell us if you like the show. If you don't like Scott's opinions, let him know personally, and we'll see you guys later.
Okay.